Are we ready?
Yeah, we're on.
All right.
Hello.
See here. Yep, it says we're live.
Let's see.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Magic Hour. Of course, somebody's alarm has to go off in the background.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious, of course.
I will be right back while I get rid of that sound and let everybody know what we're talking about today.
Sure. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about what does it mean to be a witch? What is a witch? What is a witch? There's people have different definitions, and hello. Hi, learning to live, coaching, Macon.
We already have people coming in and saying hi guys. Okay, so sorry about that, but Anna, what were you saying now?
I was saying that there's a lot of people have different ideas of what a witch is, but what does it mean to us, and why are we talking about it? Why does it matter? Why are we talking about it? So Stephanie?
Yeah, the reason that we're talking about it, and this is really almost like a testimony or a mission statement, right, is that we're done hiding. I'm done with the days of people being able to say, oh, my child had this rite of passage or this rite of passage, and it be completely celebrated. But when you say, oh, my child had this witchy rite of passage, right? Or they had a claiming, or they had a dream, or they had, a shamanistic dream, or the family claiming, or this or that, something like that, magical. It should be accepted widely. It should be just as accepted as any other rite of passage, right?
Right.
And also, we're already strange. As witches, we're already strange. We're already out there. We know we're different.
Right.
And why not have some representation in the world, right? Like, why not be seen? Why not be visible so that you can understand that we're not what has been represented for so long? Like, when you think about the word witch, you think about, unfortunately, usually like the Wizard of Oz, right? The Wicked Witch of the West with the pointy black hat, the big nose, green skin, scary, ugly, angry, and hexing people, right? Like, she has it out for people.
And eating kids, like, Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yes. And so, I mean, we need to represent in the media, in daily life, in all of these things, what it really is. And the fact that it's become so aesthetic lately, actually, I feel is a good thing, because it helps us be more seen.
Correct. Yeah, I agree completely. Like, at first I was a little bit like perturbed by it, but I now am grateful that for the pandemic, I guess, brought it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, TikTok, actually did. But that's also part of the problem. So it's because there's a reason why there's no like consensus on a definition, right? Is because
right, because for so long it's been something that's been said not to speak on. And in fact, okay, so today when we were looking over some things, right, we were going over some subjects together and looking at, like, what does the Merriam-Webster dictionary define witch as, right? Mm-hmm. And it was literally said this. It said that it was somebody who casts spells for malevolent purposes, like you force others, your will, for malevolent purposes. Yep. And then in the Encyclopedia Britannica, it brought up the word evil. They even used evil, cannibalism. This is 2023, people, and we've got the Encyclopedia Britannica saying that we're evil. That's crazy.
And cannibals, right? Yeah.
And cannibals. I don't know about you, but I'm not into that.
Nope. No. And so where does this come from, right? Like, so there's So what we're going to do is we're going to give a history of it, like where it stems from, because a lot of people don't know. And actually, unless you're a scholar and you really research it, it's hard to find out, because it is so steeped in mystery and like secrecy that that it has literally been in the broom closet the whole time. Like, and the origins are still a mystery. Like the actual original origins, like where it originated, no one knows. It just turned up one day. Like, so, you know, that's what we're going to talk about. Then we're going to talk about what it is today and what it means to each one, because witchcraft is individual to everyone. It is not a religion. There's no right or wrong for, you know, like there's no practice that you cannot do. Like, you know, I mean, like closed practice, by the way, right, doesn't mean what people are saying.
Gatekeeping.
Right.
Yeah.
So closed practice means you need to be initiated into it. It doesn't mean that because you're not part of it, like culturally, you can't do it. That's not how it works. Like,
right.
Because
no, it's about understanding the path, right? If you choose a lineage, right, then you have to fully envelop into that lineage and understand the traditions and the following. And so you can't emulate it, and blah. I'm stuttering here today. But you can't emulate it and not learn the traditions and the lineage and understand why it's a closed practice. It's not a closed practice because of the color of your skin or your culture. It's a closed practice because you have to fully give yourself to it.
Right. You have to do the work, and you have to prove yourself worthy of knowing the knowledge, getting the knowledge. And that's part of it. There's a reason it's secret. There's a reason it's kept to the members, right? And the idea that this closed practice is because, you know, because you're not the same race or culture. Like how, like what were you in a past life? Like, hell, you know what I mean? Like all of that matters. Like, so you can't say that. Like,
yes, you know what I mean? Hallelujah on that one, because like I say that all the time. As an Akashic reader, I will see other people that are gifted, right? But their gifts are connected to cultures from their past lives that have imprinted on them, right? They've carried over.
Right.
And so they'll feel a connection to a certain type of magic, right? Or folk magic. And they don't understand why. And they're like, but I'm not that in this body. Like I'm not. And I'm like, that's okay.
Right.
You don't have to be. It's on your spirit.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, as true practitioners, they notice, they recognize that they're not going to be like, okay, this whole appropriation thing comes from like white people, like that we're like started it, like this whole don't you ask people that are members of these cultures, they're fine with, like literally fine with it. Now you don't want to go around calling yourself like a shaman because, you know, like of the culture, because you're not part of that culture, you are learning it, like, but you can say you practice shamanism, right? You know what I mean? Like it's not like you can't just steal, you can't just take it and act like it's all yours because you didn't get it yourself. You got it somewhere else. Like you were shown it and you were privileged to be able to get it, right? And that's why we don't, like, a lot of people don't want to do the work these days at all. Like when I started I researched for over a year, and before I did any magic at all, like 100%, I did. I literally followed it. Like I read everything, all types of magic, everything, even religious texts, because I wanted an understanding of what I was actually doing. And no one wants to do that anymore. Now they just want to hex everybody. Like, you know.
That's so funny too, because, you know, like there's a whole thing about that. And some people try to say like, oh, well, you have to know how to hex in order to know how to heal. And that's just so untrue. You don't need to know how to harm somebody at all to know how to heal. You just have to know how to heal yourself in order to know how to heal.
Right. And having wieldy energy of like trauma that's not being worked on or has been worked on is a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. Like, because there are things that people can do, we can do, like when we get upset or lose it, like, you know, our cool, like stuff can happen.
Oh, you mean kinetic energy?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, right. And that's another sign, right, of a gifted child,
right?
Is when we're moving things without touching them. Right. And especially around puberty, that starts to really rear its head, right? I mean,
yes. And there are dozens of scientific peer-reviewed studies about this phenomenon. It is a real thing. They cannot say where it comes from because it's science, and we can't measure it properly yet. But there are even the CIA has documented cases of poltergeist activity where they spent lots of money researching, especially in Brazil, like specifically, lots of it there, and always around a child hitting puberty or a disabled older child that is unable to speak nonverbal, and has in their head, they're like kind of locked in syndrome. And so that creates this energy.
The energy has to go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And it also happens when there's like a claiming, right? Like which is claiming. When I was 12 years old, I had the claiming dream.
Okay.
And I was convinced I was going to hell.
Right.
Because I was raised Catholic and I understood the rules of Catholicism. And if I'm having a deity claim me in the dream time, then in my mind, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to hell. Like I was so scared. And that's the other reason why we're being so visible, is because we don't want little baby witches that went through what we went through to be so scared that they're going to burn in hell. Because that's just not true.
It's not. I died and I went to the other side, and guess what? It was fine.
Yeah, and that is something that was brought on throughout history by the church again.
Of course. The entire concept of hell actually was, it's all fabricated. And you can argue that point until you're blue in the face, but I already been there. So unless you have, I don't want to hear it. So, like seriously. And that's just nonsense, but it's fear-based because everything's about fear. And this brings us to like the start of our like history lesson here about witchcraft is, why did it become a thing? Like before 1400, the mentions of witches was basically talking about somebody that had the ability and skill set to do sorcery, to do necromancy, to do prophecy, a seer, an oracle, etc. Like ancient Greece, like these times before the Christian Bible came about.
Like the oracles of Delphi,
right?
Things of that nature.
And they were revered. They were
revered, but they were also captive.
Right. Yeah.
Like they lived their life in captivity, because if you were liminal on a regular basis, like ourselves, what we do, right? As working witches, we're liminal all the time. What does liminal mean, guys? It means in between. We're always talking to the spirits. We're always a medium, right? Like I have a thing that I have to do when I go in public. Sometimes I put on a hat, and that means to spirit not to talk to me while I'm doing regular things.
Right. It gets distracting.
It does. It does. And so, as I was saying about the liminality, basically, like, before they would take care of us. Like we were taken care of completely.
Right.
Because of our services.
Just like indigenous tribes take care of their shaman, their medicine men and women. And, here in the Western world, we don't do that. We instead ostracize and demonize and just tell everybody that they're going to hell.
Right.
And why is that? Well, there's a few reasons, but it has to do with, misogyny, unfortunately, and also with acquisition of property and people's personal belongings, and also it has to do with the church having power. So those are the main reasons, and those things. I mean, gotta hand it to the church; they are brilliant with their methods. Like fantastic, like well done, guys. People still believe in it to this day. But this is
insanity to me, people. Like seriously, like let's think about this for a second. All right. Like so the question is still, what is a witch, right? So by definition, it's someone who convenes with spirit, right? Who's a medium. Okay. And then also is a spellcaster, somebody who does ritualistic magic, right? Well, I'm going to ask you, Anna, what does your rituals, like, what do they look like? For sure, they don't include babies or
dancing naked in the forest. Nope, none of that. Don't do that. Mine are, and I'm going to be honest, like, I don't always do them. Like, I'm not, I reserve my magic workings for serious stuff. Like, I don't just go willy-nilly casting spells. I just don't, because I feel like they work. So I appreciate that. And I don't want to take advantage of it or abuse it. Like, so it's only when I really need something, or if I'm on like doing some kind of veneration ceremony, right? Like that's different. But for actual magic workings, it's only literally when it's necessary.
The funny thing is, isn't it mostly veneration? I mean,
yes,
really,
it is. Yeah,
most of our altar
9
work,
times out of 10, it's that. It's honoring ancestors, honoring Sabbats, like it's not
deities, nature. Yeah, we're constantly in gratitude to the universe and what it wants to give us. And I mean, find me in a bad situation, you're going to find me on my knees at my altar, speaking to whatever deities, are with me at that moment.
Right. And which ones resonate with your given situation, because there's so many.
Right.
And this is the way of the world until recent times.
Yes.
The entire world over was polytheistic. They all were. Every single, and by the way, every culture also has witches. Every single one. All of them, even though no communication between certain cultures, right? Like we all had that.
We all have it. Yeah, we all have the phenomenon, right? And so for me as like a healer energy worker, I've had like kinetic energy, right? And I still do. Like you can talk to some of my clients and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, she blew up my light bulb," or "Oh yeah, she just blew out my Wi-Fi just trying to heal me over Zoom," or things of that nature. It's energy for me.
And that's a real, okay, so like let me just I want to say this really bad. So Christians believe that there's a guy in the sky with a tablet that writes down everything bad that you do, and they watch you 24/7. You cannot escape the eye of God. Okay,
right?
Y'all believe that, but you don't believe some witches could like maybe manipulate energy that we actually know exists. It makes no sense to me. Like it's just like, okay, why is our thing so unbelievable, but yet this book that says all this crazy stuff, and also telling you to like kill your kids if they talk back to you, and or like you can't wear mixed fabrics or eat
shrimp,
like whatever, like it's like they cherry pick, and it's
right. It's rules for people during those times to live by that no longer suits the populace, and
that's why it's on a decline. It's the lowest,
right. And the issue is we need to be able to approach things with love when we don't understand them,
right?
And ask the pertinent questions, right?
Like I'm never gonna go up to a Christian and be like, "You're dumb," or "You're going to hell," like whatever. I would never.
No, and exactly. I have respect for their practice and their belief system. As long as they stay in their lane, I stay in mine. You know what I mean?
And that's the other thing is we don't go like we're talking about this, but we don't go around trying to indoctrinate other people.
No, never.
Like,
in fact,
it's not a thing.
In fact, we quake when we're more visible in public because there's so many people that don't understand, but they know that they feel something around us. They just don't know what it is,
Right. And people respond with fear. Like
right.
Always, when they don't understand something, they're scared of it, or it's evil or whatever. And it's just, okay, this is not accurate.
Right.
Evil is everyone has it in them to be a little evil. Everyone, it's duality. You can't escape it. It's just the laws of the universe. It's like there's light and dark. Okay. It's the same thing. Everyone within us has it. So it's about, but how do you use that? Okay. Like how does that play out for you? We are not out here doing bad stuff. Like in fact, I mean, I think everyone that I know that does practice witchcraft are the most helpful in giving back to
loving
collective people. They practice what they preach. They put their money where their mouth is. They go and they donate. They clean up litter, like whatever, like it's stuff that we actually do it. And we're not doing it to get props. It's just, we're doing it because it needs to be done. And like, that's, you know what I mean? Like it's not about.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think that has a lot to do with the path, right? And how dedicated you are.
Hi Rufeeda, hi, how are you?
And hey Meg, we see what you're writing. We're gonna do at the end, we're gonna do like answering your questions or back and forth. So what I was saying was, so my experience is more based on my understanding of energetics and my understanding of energy and what people experience around me and how to calibrate that and help them. Right. And so my brand of witch, if you will, is very much energetic, but like I will do little like rituals just as a representation in this reality of what I've already manipulated with energy.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like it's just known. Like I just knew that I needed to help people however I could with the things I can do. Right? Like always. Yeah. I was 12. That hit me at like around age 12. And I think that most of us is about right before at puberty, like
right around puberty. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I didn't like, I was always clairvoyant, but like things didn't come on super powered, right? Like the energy stuff that people feel around me, like that didn't come online until about 12 to 15.
Right.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. It takes a minute and because it's a lot. And over your lifetime, if you're practicing, you're going to be continually getting different things added to it. Right. And it's usually like it doesn't come more than you can handle, like at a time. It is overwhelming though. I can say that. Like sometimes it can be a little, I get a little unnerved sometimes when there's, when I have spirit communications, like actually someone that's in the chat right now knows firsthand, Rufeeda, hi. So
hi.
Can I talk about that? Is that cool if I say about how your relative, that thing that happened last summer? It was pretty nuts. And I was really like, it was crazy. But like, that scares me. Like when I hear spirits in my house, like at random at 3 a.m. when I'm by myself, like it can be upset. Like it can be a bit scary. I don't know the people that are like, cool, my house is haunted. I don't get that. Like
every house I've been in is haunted.
It's actually me that's haunted. It's not the house.
Yeah, it's actually us that are haunted. It's not the house.
Okay. So yeah, I was giving her a reading last summer, and she can attest to this too. And I for some reason checked my camera. I don't remember why, but loud as day, clear as day, in a Hindi accent, a woman yells, "Listen," really loud. And I'm on the line with Rufeeda, who is Hindi, right? And that's her. And I sent her the soundbite, and she's like, "Oh my God, that's my aunt we were just talking about." She recognized the voice. So like, and I also didn't I also say language? Like, didn't I also channel like words from that language? Right? I don't know how to speak that like at all, right? But I guess I think I did, if I remember correctly. And I wrote it down in my own English phonics, way. And she translated it and actually meant something. And I was that really freaked me out, actually. Like I was kind of a little freaked out by it. But at the same time, it was also like, wow. Okay, so I guess the voices sounded just like that uncle. Let's see here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you said the voices sounded just like that uncle and aunt that knows me and was overprotective of me when they were alive. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was the like, I think like the language thing and then mixed with the voice coming over my camera, like it was pretty insane. And it's on my YouTube channel. You guys, I posted it. It says like EVP title.
Do you find that you do this as well? When I channel, I also take on mannerisms.
I don't know, because when I watched the videos of myself like later to like see how the feed went or whatever, I'm mortified because I'm not doing what I thought I was doing, which was reading cards. I was literally like staring at the ceiling and saying like, what did you say? Like, and I have no recollection of it. Literally don't. So
yeah. Well, okay. So the reason we don't have recollection, like I'll get into that later on, but it's because when you're channeling, you're not holding anything. You're just the channel. You're just information flowing through you. You're not holding on or pulling or grasping. You're just letting it flow. So there's no retainment.
Right.
Right.
She said you did and told me that they were her guardians. Like I did the link that translate, like said some words that I don't know what they meant, and then they meant something. Like,
oh, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But like that was a new one, so that had never happened before.
Oh, right? Megan says that I act and speak just like her uncle when he's communicating through me. Inflections, body language, word choice. It's crazy cool.
Yeah. Okay, if that's what you mean, yeah. Like, so
yeah,
I've had readings with people where they ask to like about somebody that passed away, and then all of a sudden I will say something, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, that's exactly how they used to talk," and I don't know what they're talking about.
And this is something that is age old that they have said that we do, that that the church has claimed evil, right?
Right.
But that I do, and I'll talk about it. Like, my element is spirit. Like, I thought it was water for so long, but I just have a lot of water in my chart because I'm a healer. In my astrological chart, I should be specific here. But anyways, as I was speaking, spirit. So when I'm doing a reading, I take on so much of the person that's coming through. Like if it's an Akashic reading, I will start craving the foods they love. I will start talking like them. I will start dressing like them or their ancestors. And like it will be down to this, like inflection of voice, everything. And Megan's mother, Lori, who is now my mom,
yeah,
came to me, and she was just hanging out, and he shows up, and this guy is her brother that shows up, right? And he actually was a healer in when he was alive. And like all of a sudden he's connecting with me in all these ways, and I'm just channeling him very easily.
Right.
After I channeled him, he liked hanging out with me. He really dug what I do, right? Healing others, because in this lifetime he was a healer. He was a chiropractor. And
Whitney.
Huh?
Was that Whitney?
Yeah, Whitney, of course. Yeah. She does what she wants. You know, she doesn't care about people being on YouTube.
Hi, Juanita. I hope I said that right. I probably didn't. I'm so sorry.
What? Oh, hi. Oh, Waja.
Yeah, I said it wrong. We both probably did. Sorry.
Hi, guys. So as I was saying, so he kind of attached to me other than the reading. Like after the reading, he started visiting me, and I'm like, what are you doing?
That happens. That happens, and you have like at some point you have to dismiss them and like have them go. I
actually use his ability for he is a researcher on the other side, because we have jobs on the other side. And so I allow him to help me. Oh, full MD. Sorry. Lori just came on and explained to me, no, babe, full MD and so many credentials. Okay, good to know. I didn't know the full story because on the other side, he's like a researcher. That's what he does. So he brings it to me and he aids me in my Akashic readings. Right. But that would be considered using spirit, right? That would be considered manipulating spirit.
Right. So when I write papers, I zone out and I will read them when I'm done with them and be like, I don't remember even writing this. Like, so yeah, that would also.
Let me just address something in the comments real quick. Everybody's asking about readings and stuff. For the last 20 minutes of the show, we will do our readings for you guys. So stay with us and we'll announce it, and then we'll answer your questions, just like one sentence questions for us at the end.
Yeah. So now witchcraft like, so everyone has the idea of the hag face, like, you know, the witch, the lady with the big nose, green skin, even like, right. But that's not how it is, obviously. Okay. That's Hollywood. Mm-hmm. In real life, witches look for the most part. Okay. You can have the typical, I guess, like stereotypical kind of witch looking person, or you can have people like myself or Stephanie that are just regular people. And we do, you know, our stuff. And that's it. Like,
we're a little bit strange. Like you can tell by like being around us, you can feel it. It's palpable. Right. We also present a little weird because we are a little weird. Like, you know, we're not your classic like mid 40s type of chick that you're going to be like, oh, she's very professional and conservative, she's got a good head on her shoulders. Things are pretty chill,
Drama free.
Drama free.
Nope. Wrong answer. Yeah, no, we definitely have our fair share of like a lot of extra drama in our lives that literally just comes to us, and we don't try to bring it. It just happens. And it's and
that's
anyone else that practices has that stuff too. I guarantee it. Like they do. There's people attacking. There's people that don't like you just right off the bat. Like, it's kind of either love or hate. People be attracted, like really about you, or like absolutely hating you, like haters. It's really weird.
Yeah, and it's that energy, right? It's that energy that we have, and that's how you know somebody's gifted as well, because you can watch the reactions around them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not like a complete asshole, you can see that's like, why is this happening? Like, what is going on here? This is such divisive energy.
Right. And very confrontational, and like, like it's very strange.
Yeah. Right. And so like the issue is, it's not the person. Well, it is. I mean, it is us, but it's not. It's the fact that we're so connected to divinity, right? We're so connected to the other side, and we're so such a channel for truth, divine truth, right? Yeah. That it mirrors to people, like when they're around us, if they haven't done their shadow work, right, it mirrors it right back at them.
Yeah, they see what they hate, like dislike about themselves.
Right. And that would also be why in history witches have been treated the way we have.
Right. And then also because of, and I'm not man bashing, okay? Even though I have a bad history with them, personally, I still respect, but it was a thing where women historically have been the healers and the birthers, and like the ones that are midwives and things like that, which is a very, very liminal job in and of itself, because it's literally you're coming from they're bringing life from that realm into here, right? And in the church, like in the first witch trial, right, which was the first witch trial, like let me see my notes really quick. It was way before. It was in 1324.
I was gonna say it was Ireland, in Europe, right?
Yeah, Alice Keitler. And she was accused of worshiping old gods, and she was condemned to death. She was lucky though, because she was of noble rank, and so she escaped it. But all of her handmaidens didn't. They all got burnt.
They all got punished for what they thought was her sin.
Right. And then I have an actual ancestor, Margaret Stewart of Renfrew, Scotland, who was burnt at the stake in 1658 in the Scottish witch trials. I'm sure she probably wasn't a witch. She was just a woman that had been widowed, and she had property, and they wanted her property, and so they accused her of witchcraft. So it was a means of control of keeping women in their place, so to speak, which was not a property owner and not a asset holder. This was the man's dead. Now we're going to get to you and take your stuff. And that's literally, her stuff was confiscated. And yeah, that's what happened. So those are the reasons why. Like, and then the church, of course, wants to keep people from understanding that they don't need the intermediary of a pastor or priest to connect to the divine. It's in us. It is us. Like the divine is us. We are part of it. It is part of us. It is the same thing. So, but in the church, that's not the case. In the church, it's an external thing that you have to then seek out through the person, the pastor, the priest, that can then communicate for you. So it's a mechanism of control. And if you don't believe that, please just Google it. Like, look it up. It's the Council of Nicaea. Look, there's 7 meetings. Look them up. Their minutes were historically written in stone, quite literally, about what they talked about and how they came up with the Bible. I kid you not. And who was a candidate for the Son of God? All of it. So do your research before you come out saying some other stuff. Like, I teach why did they say at the college level, so I actually know what I'm talking about. So, this is stuff that is actually like factually provable. So, whether you believe, I'm not knocking the belief system of it at all. I'm just saying that the parts of the text specifically have been edited heavily, and the church has been in control of it the entire time. The Catholic Church specifically.
Anna, what I'm going to do is, because we're on time right now. I think we should do part 2 about all of this.
We'll do part 2 tomorrow.
Well, okay, you want? Well, I was going to do a money energetics episode tomorrow, so maybe we should do it next Thursday.
It's the eclipse tomorrow, right? So
yes,
yeah. So whatever is best for that, and
yeah, I'm thinking we do an online money ritual, and everybody can kind of come and check it out, and
get many.
Yeah, just share the wealth.
So put your questions in the chat now, okay?
Yeah, put your questions in the chat.
They're just the quick ones, though. So
I've got my cards.
Yeah. Oh, cool. That would be great to see you. We'd love that.
Yes.
The goal is that every week we're going to be bringing new topics in and talking about stuff, and then there's Q&A. So anytime you guys have questions, just ask them in the chat about what we're talking about. Like not the reading part, because the readings will always be at the end. But if you have a question about information that we're talking about, like we're here to answer the questions. We're trying to dispel bad information on the internet. I know we can't do all of it, but we'll try.
Waja Shah said, anything you pick up on Zane towards me. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pull some cards for you.
Okay.
About Zane. Okay. Cauldron. Wheel of the Year. And Fire reversed. So to me, these are telling me basically that this person is not somebody that you need to worry about. Not like they're going to be interested, but not right away. Like you need some time. Something needs to happen for them in order for them to see you clearly.
Yeah, they have image of like the page energy of like not quite being in the right mindset yet.
They're not ready yet. He's not ready yet.
Yeah, and there's a period of like just chilling out and like letting it take its course that needs to happen.
You're very welcome. Okay, so Rufeeda says, any good changes coming for me at my current working place, hoping for our promotion. I get a big fat yes for the promotion.
Let's see, Rufeeda.
Like as immediately when I read it, Spirit just said yes right in my head.
Like, yeah, like you've been doing good there, and like you've been showing that you're capable. Yeah, like that looks like it'll be happening very soon too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, when it's a big fat yes, and I don't even have to pull my cards, like you're good, dude.
Yeah, this is that energy is good. Yeah, she's great too. I'm sure she's doing great in her new job. So yeah, if you have well, it's
you know what? Join us for the ritual tomorrow, just to like, drive it home, right? Just it can't hurt just to come on and be like, okay, let me just get some good money juju here for the eclipse, right?
And you just got 4 of Wands too, that's the card of stability and like having what you need. So,
okay, so Tiffany says, my son had crosses appear on his fingertips one day while swimming. What does that mean?
What were they, black or dark colored?
We'll wait for her to answer that. I am not familiar with that, so I'm not going to answer that one.
I would say that would be if it depends on what color they are, but if they're a dark line, that could be some kind of vitamin deficiency that comes out because of the cold, and it becomes visible when the blood vessels constrict in the ends of the fingertips. But that's just depends like what it is. Yes, skin tone. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think it's anything.
You know what? While we're on that subject, let's talk about witch marks.
Right.
Anna, do you have one? Because I have a healer's mark.
I do. I have the number 4 in the inside of my arm. Like it's literally the number 4 and the freckles in the shape of the number 4 or the letter H, depending on how you're looking at it. So.
I have a mark up on my upper thigh on the left-hand side, exactly in the space where a healer's mark would be. And I didn't get it until after I had some flesh gouged out of the side of my thigh when they were testing my small fibers to see what was wrong with me because I was so sick, but they couldn't find anything. And it was actually
they usually appear after trauma, right? Yeah, after some trauma. Yeah. I don't see anything negative with your son, like spiritually. But
Me
I can't say anything
neither. I
about
don't see
medical.
anything negative.
Right. So I would say take him to the doctor and have it checked. If it, just to be safe. But I don't see anything energetically about it at all. Like around him, it seems fine. It's probably not that. If that's what you're worried about, you're fine.
No, he's fine. Rufeeda says, I'm seeing a lot of feathers, especially white and gray, and seeing many, many angel numbers for over a year. Well, Rufeeda, that's because Angel Rafaela is with you. He is a great healer, and he's healing all kinds of things in your life right now. So that's what I see for you.
And she needed it. Yeah. Like, she's been through it.
And yes, guys, contrary to popular belief, which is due to angels.
Yeah, angels aren't even religious.
Right?
They weren't anyways before.
You're welcome, Tiffany. Yes, he's just fine.
What was that?
She said, thank you, girls.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. And Megan says she has a freckle shaped upside down triangle. That's cool. Is that like a triangle symbol? Yeah. So we have, and you know what, that we'd be murdered for those back in the day, guys. So,
yeah. They would
anything. A mole would be enough.
Mm-hmm. They would look over our bodies, and if we had any witch marks, they would either drown us or hang us or burn us or chop our heads off.
Yeah. Oh. Yes, fun times, right? Like, I mean, it's always been that way. It's like humanity is the worst. Like, we have put so much effort and time and consideration into how
the devil right there.
That is right. Okay. So so there's people whose job it was to come up with torture devices back in the Middle Ages and stuff, and they thought of the most horrific. I mean, like, dear God, like, and that is in the name of the church. So
right.
All of the killings, like the major wars, all of the crusades, everything has been in the name of
controlling us, harming us, because we're such a great threat. Why would we be such a great threat? Probably because we embody divine truth, right? Which is not what they can control. You can't control it, right? Divinity is not something to be controlled. And that's why they go and they try to control it for power's sake, right? Because if there's power to the people, then it's not in the hands of the few.
Correct. And that's why they tell us who to hate and who's our enemy and all that stuff now. And that's why they bring up these divisive issues constantly in the news, which I stopped watching. Because
I didn't watch the news. As a healer, I cannot be political in any way, shape, or form. I need to be able to look at a whole human and not see any of their programs, right?
Right. Yeah, it's right. Yeah, that all of that stuff is meant to keep us in this state of fear and turmoil so that we don't talk to each other, that we don't share information and understand that, like, all it would take is for all of us to just get on the same boat and make change. But that won't happen because people are too scared of that or just believing that these other people are enemies or this person, they're not like you, so you have to hate them or what. It's just like
madness.
No critical thought. There's like a lack of critical thought and common sense lately in this world. That's really kind of jarring for me. I feel like it existed much more frequently when I was younger than it does now. Like, it's easy to hate people. You know
what Rufeeda said? Spirituality really saved me. You know what, Rufeeda? I agree with that. My spiritual awakening really saved me. I was in the worst spot. I was at the bottom of the well. I was in my dark night of the soul, and I was sick as can be. And I got on my knees to whatever God would listen to me and hear my prayer. And I got answers. I had a spiritual awakening and learned that God was already within me. I was already infinite. We're all infinite. Right. And like that really saved me, like from my like small thought, right? Like my understanding of what I was so small compared to after the awakening, right? Like I could really see the vastness.
It's vast. Yes, it is.
Yeah, all power lies within. Crazy. Yes, exactly. All the power lies within. And like, and I tell people all the time, I am God and so are you.
Yeah, and people get offended by that statement, and it's like, you don't get it. You don't get it. Like, you don't understand what I'm saying. But yet you do, because in your own book, it says that God made man in his own image, right? It's the same thing. Like, it's just worded. It's the same thing. It's just worded differently. Like, that's
right. And people do get confused when we say we talk to deities, but we also believe in source, right? But this is a situation of yes and.
Right.
All of these things exist. All of them. All at once, all at the same time. It's not an exclusive thing. There's no exclusivity here. It is all encompassing.
Right. And you create your own things. When you believe in them, they become real. So, like,
right.
I mean, even the devil causes you to have the devil present in your life.
Right. If you truly believe in this thing, then you're going to manifest it, right? Like, the Native Americans believed in this thing called a tulpa, right? And
oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. And a tulpa is a physical manifestation of enough people believing in this one thing that it starts to create a manifestation of it in this 3D reality, like Bigfoot.
And and quantum physics proves this to be true in their simulations they have with computer models here at UC Irvine. In Donald Hoffman's lab, which I really hope I can get into for my PhD, my second PhD program that I'm going to be doing because I'm crazy. But like that one, they have a computer program where it shows that when people come together and they meet in just the course of a regular meeting of the minds, that a third entity is formed. That third entity is the thoughts, the shared understanding and agreements that these people have had in their conversation creates a third independent entity. So if you're talking about scary stuff, if you're talking about evil stuff, and you got people echoing your stuff, your echo chamber,
creating it. Right. You're creating a whole reality.
Yeah, Rufeeda, go ahead. What do you got? What's your question?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, that's a problem though, and people don't get that. It's like
right. They don't understand that. And see, so by the other side of the coin too, we understand that we make our own reality, and then therefore we commit to it, right? And then we have the physical manifestation of it by ritual, right? Ceremony, ritual, right? Like our folk magic. And then that's just an affirmation in this 3D reality, right? To manifest what we want.
Right. And that's like,
how can I improve my manifestations? Rufeeda says, okay, well, I love that question so much.
It's perfect timing, actually.
Like, right. So I have many things to say on this one, and it's not going to fit in 8 minutes. I'll do my best for you, Rufeeda. I personally, and I think Anna's going to put in some 2 cents in this one.
I got fake it till you make it. That's mine. That's it. Go ahead. Yeah.
My answer is sex magic.
Oh, right.
But then also understanding energetics.
Right.
I teach all of these things, and you can contact me on my website if you like, or through my email on my website, and I can guide you. But I truly believe that unlocking the root chakra through sex magic is the only way to release the trauma inside there that keeps you thinking small, living small, playing small, and living in a scarcity mindset.
What about people that are younger and haven't had sex yet? What do they do?
They should not be manifesting yet. That's just my personal opinion. If you haven't had all the experiences that life has given you yet, like you shouldn't be.
Makes sense.
You shouldn't be manifesting yet. You shouldn't be on that yet. You should just be being.
Right. That is, I guess that does make sense. Actually, I hadn't thought of it that way. Yeah. So that makes sense, right? Because you need to have all of those collective human experiences
in order to understand what you're doing energetically.
Right.
It's a thing, and I'm not trying to gatekeep at all. It's just one crone over here saying, hey, you know what? I've done it. I know where I'm at. And when you have the understanding, you got the oomph, right?
See the chat right now? See? Yeah.
You haven't. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. The culture there is not, you can't, because
for sure. I completely understand that.
So that's like, so it's like, but that might be why you're manifesting not as like, not the advice is to go do that. It's just that like perhaps that is part of it, like that's missing missing
right
component.
And it can be a solo practice, and it can be
there's that. Yeah, you can just
control others. Megan said, yes, I agree, Megan, absolutely. That's very true. You do have to heal yourself before you heal others, and I actually said that earlier in this podcast. But also you have to be able to have walked through all the like chaos and dirt and rough stuff and come out the other end to truly understand the energetics of it.
Right. And it can be kind of scary. Like, again, it can like, it can be a little overwhelming and like, surprise. I think a lot of people get surprised when they actually have results and it hits home, like, and it dawns on them that, oh my God, this is real. Right. Like that.
Right. But it is real. It's not just hocus pocus, right? It's actual, like you and I use quantum theory
all the time,
mathematics. Mm-hmm. We use probabilities, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. And like it's all of it. It's not just one thing.
No, and you know that your perception creates your reality.
Right.
So like, you could be with friends and out with friends, and you could perceive that one of your friends is being rude to you. Your friend could technically not be being rude to you, but you perceive that, therefore that was your reality, even though to her she wasn't rude, and to everyone watching they're like, what are you talking about? But yet you still have the same feelings that come along with being kind of dissed by a friend. So perception creates reality, and quite literally. So how you perceive things matters. So if you're in the lack mindset all the time, where you're like, everything sucks and nothing's going to get better, that's what's going to come at you, because that's what you're putting out there. Like, that's the energy around you. Yeah. So you gotta, like, that's where faking it till you make it comes into play, where you're just like, you live as if like
by all means, like, glamour magic is even just me looking in the mirror while I'm putting on my lipstick and whispering to myself, you're a sexy bitch.
Right. I do it all the time. I'm like, you got this, girl. Like, I talk to myself in the mirror. Like, I'll be like, girl, you're good. You got this. You know what you're doing. Yes. And it seems cheesy at first and it's silly, but it's important, because you're communicating with yourself as you're looking at yourself, and you're reaffirming this belief that you can do this thing. And it helps, it really does.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. We have about 3 minutes left. Does anybody have any questions left for us? We can answer one last question. And Megan says, shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. I agree. And what is our shadow, right, guys? Our shadow is what we were told, the parts of ourselves that we're told is bad, right? The parts of ourselves that we're like, oh my gosh, I can't be this because it's naughty, right?
Yeah, I can't be this angry or this whatever. Yeah, like
you're looking at your old programs and figuring out why the narrative is there, right? And you're getting rid of the narrative. Like, you have to break through the narrative in order to get to the other side, where you've taken and embraced your shadow and then transmuted it, right? So that you're completely whole person.
Not having shame about parts of you that are human, like the human parts of you that are undesirable, like shame, the jealous side, shame side. Yeah. Like that
stuff keeps us small, right?
What?
Shame keeps us small.
Yeah, it does. Like, you can be embarrassed about things that have happened in the past, right? But like, get over it, because guess what? Like, the only person that really cares is you at this point. Like, and if you're living in your past mistakes all the time, you're not going forward. Period. Right. You can't. So it's like, live and learn, like, let it go, shake it off, and get back up and get back on the horse again, kind of thing. Right. Like,
absolutely.
Those old lessons we got as kids, from, if we had good parents that told us that, which, it's the same kind of thing. So you have to stop with the shame, stop with the guilt. Everyone makes mistakes.
Yep. All right. Well, it looks like we're at an end, and everybody asked their questions. Thank you guys so much for joining us today for the Magic Hour. We'll be back. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. So
Los Angeles time. Yeah. So hope you guys will join us, and we'll be doing a money manifestation ritual, right? For the collective. Like, so you guys get in on it so you can reap those benefits, right?
Yep, absolutely. Get in on those energetics, guys.
All right. And, stay witchy, guys. All right. Blessed be, guys, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.